Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll be doing a really gentle, easy beginner yin stretching yoga class. That was a lot of words. So what you'll need, it's really nice to have a blanket. Nice to have, not need to have, but it will make your class much more enjoyable. Maybe even a couple blankets, a couple cushions or pillows maybe. If you have blocks, great. If not, that's okay too. So let's just jump in and get started. This one is only 20 minutes-ish, and it's for if you're a beginner or if you're just really low on time today, or you're just not feeling like exercising. And that happens to all of us. So whatever the case is, just getting started in a cross-legged position and closing the eyes. You can place your hands on the knees, lifting them nice and tall, taking a few moments before we really get started, just to settle in. And just take a couple deep breaths. In yoga, we breathe through the nose, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. And for the next few moments, find an intention for your practice. There's so many benefits to yoga, so just picking one of them, trying to really solidify, why am I here? I'm here because I want to get more flexible, or maybe it's simply I want to feel better, or maybe it's I don't really know much about yoga, I just want to see what it's all about. Whatever your reason for being here, take a moment to solidify that, really feel that. And slowly open the eyes. Heading into our first stretch for the day, we'll head into half butterfly. So for this one, we can start with our legs forward and then bend your left leg in like a butterfly wing. And this is where you may want to set up. If you're, first of all, having trouble staying upright, if you're falling back as soon as you bend that leg in, the recommendation is to sit up on a folded blanket or maybe even a cushion as long as it's even so your hips remain even. And if there's any pain or discomfort in the knee, you could try a cushion or a blanket beneath the knee. And if that's just not working, then you need to come out. Once you're all set up, I'll just grab my little timer here. Take a big inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, heading forward. So again, if it's a struggle to stay upright, being up on a blanket. And what I like to do with blocks is use them to help you be lazy. This is why yoga is amazing, especially yin yoga. So you can just kind of go like that there. Or maybe you have a little bit more flexibility and you can go forward a little bit more. Whatever it is, try to find a space where you can completely relax. And we're here for a little while, so get comfortable. And even close the eyes. What we're trying to find here is what we like to call in yin our edge. So your edge is that place where you do feel a stretch, but you feel like you could hold it for a while. So if you'll notice, if you were to go a bit further, you might be like, oh, I could hold it for a couple seconds, but it's not comfortable to hold long term. That's too far. In yin, we really want to find your edge as a place that is somewhat comfortable. Like it's a little stretch, but you could stay here for a bit. If you were around in the 80s and exercising in the 80s, you might remember no pain, no gain. But what Bernie Clark says, who's an amazing yin teacher, he says, no pain, no pain. And that's his motto. We've since learned that less is more. And you'll actually increase mobility faster by not pushing, because there's a lot of science behind it. I won't get into it, but the body kind of fights back. So allowing the body to feel a bit of a stretch, and that's it, just hold. Really trying to relax and soften everything. So even your neck. And we're already done that side. So slowly, slowly, slowly. Even if you're like, I don't need to go slow, it's nice to do so anyways, just because. We'll release that bent leg forward and head into just a bit of a counter stretch. This is a reverse plank. So bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing forward towards your toes. And you can be a fair ways back too, with the hands behind the hips, not too close together. So they're on the outsides of the hips. And then start to straighten through the arms and lift the heart to the sky. If you're really ambitious, you can lift the hips. I'm going to keep mine on the floor because I get a really good stretch just right here. Couple deep breaths. And slowly release. And we'll switch sides. So same setup. Bend the other leg now. The right leg bends. Left leg stays straight. And get your blocks set up, your blankets, your cushy things, whatever you need. And when you're ready, inhale to lengthen. And on the exhale, leaning forward. Getting all your props necessary. And once you're set up and you found your edge, go ahead and close the eyes. In Hatha Yoga, we have the eyes opened for our practice, but with Yin, it's a bit different. It's not a traditional form of yoga. It's a good, what do you call it? Like when you add it to, it's like a good side dish, but whatever you call that for exercise, supplemental. There you go. I must be hungry. So closing the eyes, it helps us eliminate distraction. If you're in a class situation, it helps you to not worry about what other people are doing and how flexible they are, because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've got your face on the floor or if you're still way up high. As long as you're feeling the stretch, you're doing a really good thing for your body. And remember not to push it, because that'll backfire on you. It won't make you get flexible faster. It'll actually slow down your progress. So finding the edge, close the eyes, and melting into it. Really try to soften and relax all of the muscles. And you might even have noticed if you've gone too far in a stretch, your muscles will tighten up, they'll tense up. So try to see if all of your muscles are relaxed. You can even scan the body, starting with your foot, working up the leg, the hips, the back, the shoulders, the neck. Just be sure everything is nice and relaxed. And then slow, deep breaths. And slowly, slowly start to come out. Take your time, take your time, take your time. When you feel ready, extend the bent leg forward. And once again, heading into that reverse plank. So back onto the hands, straightening through the arms, lifting the heart, feeling a nice stretch across the front body. Couple deep breaths. And slowly come on out. Our next stretch, we have to get up a little bit, but then we can relax back into it, is a lunge. So coming up through hands and knees. If you have blocks, it's nice to have them nearby, or if you're near a couch or a chair, having that nearby is nice as well. From your hands and knees position, or from whatever position, bring your right foot forward, and then your left leg goes back with the back knee on the floor. Now that might be too much on the back knee, so you can place a cushion or something beneath that back knee. And then I like to prop myself up on my blocks, that's why. So getting into it, and if you're not quite into it yet, not to worry. I'll get our timer started anyways. This one is not necessarily as relaxing as the last one, so if you're a couple seconds behind, it's all good. It's nice, actually. But it should feel nice once you're in, sinking and melting down into it. Thinking about the hips melting down towards the floor. So again, if you've got a couch, you can hold on to that, or your blocks, or maybe nothing. Wherever you're at, trying to relax as much as possible. And if it's okay on your balance, if you are holding on to something, maybe even closing the eyes. We're trying to feel the stretch. You may feel it on the front leg somewhere. If you do, that's okay. Some people feel it in the hip, some people feel it in the inner leg. The main muscle that we're targeting is the back leg across the front of the hip. So I feel it actually up even into the tummy. We're stretching the iliopsoas muscle. If you don't know where that is, it's fine. It's your innermost core muscle. And we want to relax it downward. Closing the eyes. And to come out, moving slowly, slowly, slowly. And we're switching sides. Again, don't worry about getting there quickly so that you're there right for when the timer starts. Take your time. Shifting maybe your cushions or blankets, whatever you need. If you're behind the timer or behind the start, it's okay. Totally okay. Whenever you get there, same thing again. Melting into it, holding onto your couch or your blocks, whatever you've got. Once you're in, closing the eyes if that's available. One thing that's kind of nice with this stretch, this one is really important for muscular balance. And I like this one because it's easier to find out the differences. With our hips, there's so much that can happen in our lifetime. If you have a job or had a job where you're carrying heavy things, you might often carry them on one side more than the other side, and the hips, the pelvis can be tilted. For parents, if you carried a child on one hip or the other hip, you might notice that one side feels a lot more flexible than the other, and it could be years and years of imbalance and repetitive motion. So this is a really nice practice to help even that out. I recommend whatever side feels tighter, try to soften even more. So it's not pushing further into it, it's softening even more, really focusing a little bit more on the side that feels a little bit tighter. Visualizing even loosening up. And to come out, moving slowly, 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 slowly. And then take your time. We'll head all the way onto our backs into a nice twist, but we won't hold that one very long at all. Laying back. From here, have the knees hugged into the chest, and we'll do a two-legged twist. So arms open to the sides, and then what we'll do is place the feet on the floor, shift the hips over to the left, and then send the knees over to the right so that you have one straight line from the crown of the head all the way to the hips, and really keep both shoulders on the floor. One likes to pop up, but really keep it down. If you know twisted roots and you prefer that variation, go ahead and do that, or a one-legged twist. This two-legged variation is just a little bit more mild. And to come out, belly scoops in, press the low back into the floor. We get to use our core a little bit there. And then we place the feet on the floor, square up the hips on either side. So shift those hips over to the right, and the knees go over to the left. Both shoulders on the floor. And scoop the belly in, press the low back into the floor so you get to use your core, core, core. Square it all up. Hug the knees in one last time. Little rock from side to side. And then we'll prepare for Shavasana. So release the feet back to the floor. And if your back needs a little extra support for Shavasana today, just keep the feet on the floor. Step them apart a little bit and let the knees tip in towards each other. If your back feels fine, feel free to extend the legs. Arms are along your sides, palms facing up, and you may even wish to shrug the shoulders beneath you so that it's like you have perfect posture, but on the floor. And close the eyes. We'll stay here for just a minute. And softening everywhere. But especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. If you'd like to stay here a little longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, wiggling fingers and toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. Then reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. Then bend your knees in one at a time and gently roll over to the right side, pausing there for a few moments as you come back. And slowly press yourself all the way up to a comfortable cross-legged position. When you arrive, palms facing up on the knees. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today and taking care of you. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.